Hello, hello, and welcome to episode 36 of Nintendo Noise Flip Screen Games Weekly Nintendo Podcast. I'm your host, Stephen Radford, filling in for Pete, and I'm joined, as always, by my very good friends and co-hosts, Mr. Chewy Plays.
Hello, hello.
And joining us once again, the wonderful sierraplusultra.
Hi.
How you doing, everyone?
Great.
That was such a Kirby hi right there.
I can't do the Kirby voice.
It's so high. I could as a kid, but then your voice changes and you just can't anymore.
Yeah. It's like a frog noise. It's like in the pocket of your throat, It's hard.
It's almost like on the same level as Toad. Of like I can like quite get there with the Toad screech, but I can't quite make it.
Every once in a while I have to turn on Toad covers whatever song.
Oh yeah, for the culture.
Yeah. Toad doing.
Have you heard those?
Like Ra Ra Rasputin by Boney M was the funniest for me because it's like this Russian song and it just seems so fitting for Toad. It was just so funny when I saw that. I was just like cracking up.
I love those. I can watch them for too long.
So this week we're going to talk about Splatoon 3 and its a release date. We finally know when it's coming out. And Mario movie got delayed. Maybe it was because Chris Pratt got cancelled. We'll find out.
Definitely.
But before that, I just need to do a little bit of housekeeping. So thank you very much to our Patreon producers for the month of April. And they are, of course, Christian Oliveria, Christopher Valens, Gabriel Hasselmeyer, aka Sobi, Mary Berry, Smokey Shake, Wakahula, and Zaydida. Thank you very much for your support. We couldn't do this without you. And if you want to support us, the best way to do that is over on Patreon. You can get access to One More Thing, our exclusive Patreon podcast where we just talk about nonsense. This week we spoke about, I don't know if you've listened to it yet, Sierra, moody band photos. I saw your new band promo pictures and I was like, Pete, why is it that every band, no one smiles and they all look so serious?
Oh, I haven't listened yet, but I can answer that. Oh, yeah, people just it's an aesthetic thing. It's like an attitude image thing. We try to get smiley ones too, but they're either not as good as the serious ones, or we forget to get them, and we're just standing there in a room okay, time to get our picture. And they were just in and out.
It wasn't
cool
just
people
you.
Don't smile.
Everyone does it, I think. And Pete was like, "Oh yeah, but our band has a different vibe. They're just a goofy band." And I think it goes with the fact that his band's name is named after a pun or a joke thing that Joe Biden accidentally misspoke or whatever. So that's their vibe. But I can get that more serious bands like yours would be kind of just have the stern look. Yeah. But yeah, that's what we spoke about over there along with a bunch of other stuff. So you can go check that out. But if you want to write into the show or join our Discord or get involved in other ways, just head over to our website, flipscreen.games, and you can find out everything and everywhere we are there. Sierra, as you're our guest, where can people find you at the top?
I'm on Twitch as Sierra. TikTok and YouTube. I got a little bit of stuff on YouTube. Nothing crazy.
I think there's that was it that Mario game that we played with AJ.
Yes,
up on YouTube.
That whole VOD is up there. A deep cut from the vault. It's a good one.
Awesome. Well, as I said, we're going to talk about Splatoon 3. We got a new trailer this week, which showed off a bunch of the Turf War gameplay. And in that trailer, they also revealed the release date of September 9th, 2022. So the new trailer showed at one of the new stages, Eeltail Alley. And we also got a first look at the stringer, which is their it's a bow and arrow that shoots sideways and vertically at the same time. But there's a bunch of cool stuff in the trailer, right? The fact that you started in the air and then positioned yourself on the map where you wanted to go. It was very, very cool. Chewie, I know you're our resident Splatoon pro pro player. What did you make of this?
It's pretty awesome, I'd say. I think the big thing, this felt like it was very meant to highlight the new specials, because I think that's the big difference that we're going to get with this game. There's some like little technical aspects I noticed that are probably like more deep in the weeds for players who are going to be playing for thousands of hours and competing, you know. But as far as like this one goes, it was definitely focused on the new specials. I think they showed 8 of them or so, and I don't even remember them all at this point. But everybody would die. They'd switch over to another person to show off whatever their special was. And I think why this is big, specifically in like the competitive community, is because Splatoon 2 is a very like special oriented competitive game right now, where people are really just trying to build their specials and coordinate them to win, you know, whatever their the game is, right? They're just putting them all together, making it work so they can defeat everyone and complete the objective. That's the word I'm looking for here. It's like okay right now. I think where we've landed is that the specials have been like a little bit too powerful, and some of them are kind of useless. Actually, Splashdown, as much as you love it, at that high level, it's getting shot out of the air every single time.
I still have not figured out how to shoot it out of the air, but every time it happens to me and I'm in the air and it gets shot out of the air, I get so mad and so annoyed that someone's been able to do it. But I'm at that point now where it's matchmaking me against players who just know exactly how to shoot it out of the air every single time. And I think it must depend on the weapon, right? With the range. Because some of them, I always use the Splushamatic. There's no way I can reach it.
Oh yeah, that one's got too much of a spread, and it doesn't shoot very far. So most people are going to be able to, you know, get you with that one. But yeah, these specials, they seem very different. There's one that they highlighted that I'm like, I don't know how that's going to work, but it was basically like the enemy team would keep shooting at it, and it would suck up like a vacuum all of the ink that was going towards you and then just like shoot out as a huge blast. And I was like, nobody's gonna shoot at that thing. Why would you? That sounds dumb. But yeah, it just seemed to highlight all the specials and stuff, which is good. The one thing that we haven't really seen though thus far in this game is the ranked modes. Like, they've shown off turf, they've shown off that there's going to be a new story mode, and they've shown us the salmon run mode. And so it's making me wonder, like, oh, I wonder if there's going to be any new ranked modes, because Splatoon 2 did introduce Clam Blitz.
That was
the other
after
three
the
were
fact,
already
though, right? It wasn't at launch.
Yeah, that wasn't out at launch, so it was updated into it later. I imagine they'll still have Splat Zones, the base mode, I think, and still kind of the most popular amongst like competitive play. Yeah, Tower Control and Rainmaker tend to be a little less popular in ranked mode, like real competitive teams, because they're too easily defeated by one special, the Stingray. Like, that's just like a run stopper for both of those. Whereas the other two, you got a little bit more leeway with some of the other specials. But yeah, I mean, outside of that, I'm like just wondering where the ranked modes are. We got new music, we got new gear, we got cool new like ending screens once you win.
I saw that,
pops up one at a time.
I really hope that you can. It looked like you could customize like the placards that are underneath you as well. Like every single one on the like victory screen seemed to have like a different color or a different design, and you can like change. I'm hoping you can change the patterns or like choose what brand of clothing you want to like align yourself with. Because there was always that cool thing with Splatoon, how everything's like ingrained and integrated into the world. Like Grizzco, you're going to get a job at like Grizzco to do Salmon Run, and like you get rewarded with it's like as payment. All the clothing has like different branding and stuff. So I really hope that is some kind of integrated in some way.
Yeah, it seems like, you know, a lot of people tend to know this studio as like, oh, it's the Animal Crossing team, it's the Splatoon team. They make the same games and stuff. And I'm like, yeah, I mean, they're very big development teams that have a bunch of different people with some shared across, right? But you definitely see some of those inspirations with like the placards in general. It looks like we're getting titles kind of similar to Animal Crossing. And I think a lot of Nintendo games have been kind of doing that lately. I know not too many people picked up Big Brain Academy, for example, but in that game, like as you play, you'll unlock new little titles for your character. They're pretty cute. And then what other one had this
I think,
recently that I
didn't
noticed? I
WarioWare
don't
have
remember.
that?
I'm trying to remember if WarioWare did. I'm not sure. I don't recall. I had another one in mind, but yeah, Splatoon seems to be adding that as well. And I'd say the one thing that I'm like really wondering what it means is all of those little placards had like a 4-digit number on it, kind of like, you know, your Discord username at the end has a little identification number thing. And I'm like, oh, what's that all about? Because the big thing that I'm hoping with this one is they improve the online matchmaking so that you don't have to be friends with somebody to invite them to a game online. Like that's true across the board. Like even if you're playing in a tournament or something, you'll have to like add somebody's friend code before they can actually see you pop up in a lobby in a private battle. So that's one thing I hope, but
It'd be nice.
I don't know. There's a bunch of little questions.
I kind of assumed that was like a rank number, like in some kind of global leaderboard, but it's too small of a number, isn't it? In order for that to be the case, I would imagine. I don't know.
Yeah. I'm not sure at all because the only time you ever really see, and you don't even see the full number right now in Splatoon 2, but when somebody is in like the top 500 for any ranked mode, they have a little crown icon, a little special icon that shows up on their names. But outside of that, like you don't really see anybody until the end of the month. If they're not in like the top 10 or something, I think you can see the top 10 players, which is like, who's going to get that? It's everybody from Japan, basically. But yeah, at the end of the month, the whole rankings pop up, and I think they put up like the top 500 players there.
Okay, interesting. Sierra, what's your take on this? Are you a Splatoon fan at all? Have you ever played this game?
Played Splatoon still. I've been meaning to. It's just y'all know how it is. There's so many games. But like I was thinking I would pick up one of them before 3 drops. And if I don't, I think I'm gonna just get it regardless. I've been watching the trailers.
To be honest. I would skip 1 and 2 and just like go straight in with 3 at this point. Unless you really wanted to play the single player mode. I don't think Splatoon 2 single player is that great, but we'll get on to it. I've been playing some of the Octo expansion. That seems solid so far.
Okay. Yeah, I like just in general like games like that, like where you know you play on a team and it's dependent on like shooting things. Like I've never been good at that, but like I feel like this is like, you know, really fun game I could play with friends. I think it's, you know, like all of the, you know, the different abilities you can use look really fun to play with. So I'm, you know, definitely looking forward to giving it a chance in September. Like at the very least, I know it'll be fun. Like I certainly have had y'all like talking up plenty to me, like to enough to sell me on it. Whereas before I would just kind of look from afar and be like, oh, you know, might be nice, like party game sometime. But I definitely feel like the trailers have been getting me really excited for it. And I think it'll be really interesting to dive into like the turf war stuff, which is how I've always known Splatoon to be, like that gameplay. Like I'm familiar with like the story modes, but for the most part, like that's how I've always understood the game to be played by friends, you know, those multiplayer modes and whatnot.
I think Turf War was really where I spent the majority of my time in the game. It was so nice at like the end of the day to just play 2-3 rounds of Turf War, because you know exactly how long they're going to be. You've got like 3 minutes. You can just quickly go in. You can just like play a few matches. If you're bunched in with a bunch of people that you don't like, you can hop out and hop into another lobby, and like there's no kind of stress. And because it's just like painting the ground, there's no real like you can contribute even if you're not very good at like aiming or shooting people, or like there's always some like you're there, you're doing something. If you spot a piece of ground that's clear, you can color it in. If you spot some of the enemy's ink in your turf, you can cover it up. And I think it's like one of the most accessible shooters in that regard, just because you don't have to be like constantly twitching on the sticks in order to be, or gyro if you're in Chewy's case. You don't constantly have to be like chasing after someone if you don't want to. There is always a way for you to contribute, which is great.
For sure.
Yeah, and I think also with this, it's like even with the competitive modes, like there's not any mode that's strictly focused on like kills or splats as they call them in Splatoon, right? Like it's all objective based at any given time. So I think, yeah, you find the mode that clicks with you. Most people click with Rainmaker pretty quickly. Kind of the easiest mode to explain outside of splat zones, where you just have to get this big gun to the other side of the field. The other side of the map.
Nice.
So, and it's exciting, you know, and I don't know. I think it's definitely, I'm in that same scenario where I just like don't play shooters outside of this. I played this at my brother's place I played the first one on Wii U. I didn't have a Wii U at the time, but I was just like visiting my brother. Played so long that night, drove in my car, and I was just like envisioning paint going everywhere as I drove. So it just like stuck in my mind, and I went back home, and I was just like, all right, I'm getting a Wii U. I was waiting till Animal Crossing on the Wii U, which it didn't happen, but Splatoon, that's what sent me over, and I got one for that.
This was the game that sold. This was the game that sold you on a Wii U then.
Yeah, this was it. I kind of wish I got one sooner, because they took off that little Animal Crossing Plaza thing before I got my Wii U, and I can't download it at all.
That sucks.
It's gone from existence. My brother's Wii U does have it, which I think is in my nephew's hands now, so I do occasionally go over there and just like turn that on just to take a look. But yeah, like this was the game that got me a Wii U. It's the one that started it all right there.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to this. And we now know that they've given, I think, a bit more info in the description for the trailer for the single player story mode. You're back again joining Agent 3 against the Octarians. Apparently you're in a mysterious place called Alterna and the Fuzzy Ooze. So I'm looking forward to finding out what the hell any of that means. And they've started showing off a bunch of weapons over on their Twitter accounts as well. So like the first one was this ink vac. I don't know if this was the one that you were talking about, Chewy, where it like
it kind of sucks up all the paint, up all the enemy paint that they're shooting.
And then like shoves it over to their side. I can't tell. I think it sucks up the paint that they're splatting down, from what I can tell, and then like moves it so like it clears out the ground, which is cool. It's kind of like a double whammy, like it's clearing their ink off of your side and then also like splatting out color on their side of the map. It looks slow though. Like this is similar to like the splatling gun in terms of speed. Like you'll be there for a long time charging that thing up in order for it to shoot. But it looks really cool. I'm looking forward to seeing some more of that. I'm looking forward to seeing some more of the gear and also some of the maps that are coming over. And I was curious, like, what do you want to see come over from Splatoon and Splatoon 2? And what are you hoping is new? Because I've put together a bit of a list of maps that I absolutely want. There's like 5 maps I 100% want. And there's 2 from Splatoon 1 that never made it into Splatoon 2 that I always loved the look of, that I really want to play. There's a Mahi Mahi Resort and the Museum d'Alfonso.
Ooh.
Yeah, those are very popular maps. Mahi Mahi a little bit less. I personally liked it more than the museum, though. That was one of my favorites. There's a lot of points where you can fall into the water in that one, and people don't tend to like those maps, but I've been a fan of them. Yeah, both of those are fan favorites for sure. From Splatoon 1, there's also oh shoot, what's it called? Like Flounder Heights or
Mhm.
something. That one, I always hated it. I was glad it was gone, but I guess a lot of people want it back. But I think in general, the Splatoon community, they've learned their lesson because we got Moray Towers in Splatoon 2, and that one was like, that was a meme level to everybody who played. Like, they all
I'd be
just said they
okay if
loved
that
it.
didn't come
But
over. Yeah, no one likes that map.
nobody likes it. Nobody actually likes it, but it was the most popular, so they brought it over, and we were like,
Oh
"What
my
have we
God.
done? Why have we lied to Nintendo like this?" So yeah, in reality, nobody likes that level. They want it gone. So we're all just hoping that one's gone forever.
Nah, you know that one's going to be the one that's on like the cover picture. That's the one that's like
Please no.
in heaviest rotation. I don't know why they seem to love that map so much. It's genuinely not a good map, but the other ones I
Yeah.
really want to come over from Splatoon 2, Arawana Mal. I love that one. I know some people don't
That one's
really
also in
like it.
Splatoon 1.
The Walleye Warehouse, Port Mackerel, Schellendorf Institute, and the Mako Mart. I love those ones.
I hate Schellendorf. That's my least favorite.
Why? What's wrong with Schellendorf? I love the fact that you can like camp upstairs and just like shoot down if you want to.
It. I hate it. I hate it. I lose a lot on that one. I just can't. I can't play that level.
Gotta play the camping strat, I guess.
Yeah. I think a lot of the ones you listed are actually like originally from Splatoon 1. Schellendorf is definitely a Splatoon 2 map.
Okay.
But yeah, like a lot of those were redone, and I think some of them were redone in ways that it was like, oh, okay, this does work a lot better. Like Walleye Warehouse had some huge problems in the first one that made it very difficult for people to get out of being spawn camped. Nowadays, it's a little bit better, but it can still be an issue. I really like Humpback Pump Track, though.
I don't like
probably
that one.
my favorite.
I hate that
Yeah.
one. It's so funny.
That's probably
though.
my favorite. Yeah.
Like it just goes to show how different all of the maps are, that everyone has their own favorites and their own ones that they hate, but everyone does equally hate Moray Towers. Like it is not good.
Please don't let it die. And then it's the stage they pick for Smash. It's all over the place. Yeah.
Really? That's
how
the
I know
Smash
it.
map, is it?
Yeah, that's the Smash. That's the Splatoon Smash stage.
Mm-hmm.
How is it in Smash, Sierra? Do you like it there at least?
Oh, it's not a legal stage. I never touch it. That means like it's not used for competitive. So like cuz it's just like a wacky stage. It's like 4 levels or 4 levels or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So I never get to play it on stream. I've played it. It's kind of annoying because like when you think you've returned to the stage, like you just fall through, or like I don't know, it's odd. It's really odd. And it's weird to have to like go up and down. It's like you're playing chase extra hard when you're fighting someone on that stage, because it's like you could try to camp them, but like they could still be like 3 levels below you, and it's just not always fun.
Maybe it's even less fun in Smash than by the sounds of it. Like I don't know. I don't think I would enjoy it. I'm terrible at Smash at the best of times. I can't imagine playing a map where I don't even know if I'm on the board and I just fall through. Like I would die.
Love the ones where it's just flat. It's just flat. There's no tricks. There's no hidden nooks and crannies. Flat.
Yeah, I was gonna say, if it's a Smash stage and it's not just like flat platforms, it's not gonna be one that people play.
Yeah.
So another thing I'm curious about is the strategy they obviously went with Splatoon 2 seemed to be a winning one, which is release the game with kind of very little content and just continue to add to it. And like even with like we know there was new maps added, like some of the ones that I listed weren't in there initially. I don't think Arawana Mal was there at launch. I think that one came afterwards. The Clan Blitz we've mentioned as the mode that got added. But there was like a bunch of weapons added as well. The NZAP, for example, that wasn't in there. We've got 3 iterations of the NZAP in the game now. What do you want to see at launch? Do you want to see them kind of do the same strategy? And like Sierra, do you like the idea of a game that launches with a little bit of content and then continuously adds to it over time. Like Animal Crossing obviously did a similar thing with like the patches and the updates. Or would you rather just have it all there and unlockable at the beginning?
That's a good question. Yeah, real quick, I'm just gonna say, as long as it's communicated that that's what we are going to expect from like the life cycle of the game, like everything's gonna be rolled out over time, I'm fine with that. I think like yeah, as long as it's communicated, like the intent is to like add like the value that you're like paying for at the jump, like over time, I'm cool with that. Because like, and then in the context of Splatoon, like I think I'm gonna be so busy just getting my bearings on how to play the game anyway that I don't think I'll even be it for this game. I don't think I'll be thinking about that stuff really, and then it'll just be nice when it drops.
Yeah. I think Nintendo has tried this out now with several games, and I think it has worked or at least for me. It worked well for Animal Crossing. It worked well for Splatoon. It didn't work well for something like Kirby
Golf.
Star Allies. Mario Golf. I thought that was fine. Like I am one of the few who still like logs in, does like my monthly ranked thing to get whatever the special thing is, right? But I don't know. Overall, not too much. Not as well as Splatoon and Animal Crossing, I think. But maybe it's because those games are bigger. There's kind of bigger communities around them that like really truly enjoy all of the new stuff that comes, and it does change the game for people enough for them to just play more, have fun hanging out with each other and that sort of thing. So with Splatoon 3, I imagine they'll go that route again. I mean, I feel like they haven't said anything really specific about their strategy with how content's being released for this game, right? So I don't know. I'm kind of expecting that to be the thing, but at the same time, I feel like it works. It just like it's. I guess the best example I could think of right now is like Halo at the moment.
Halo's
like
a mess
the
at the
content for
moment,
that
yeah.
just it's just like not coming out as quickly as people have grown to expect with like competitive online games like this. So a lot of people have dropped off, forgotten it. Whereas like Splatoon, it was Splatoon 2. I remember it was like every single month there was something new to dig into, something new to play, and everybody was excited to be like, oh, how does this change the meta? Is this weapon really cool?
That
So
plus the
I think,
Splatfests always gave you a reason to
yeah.
come back to the game, which was great because you wanted the the special stuff that you got from the Splatfest if you won, and then you could take advantage of like scrubbing your gear because it was cheap, and you could just get your chunks from your special Splatfest T-shirt the entire time if you really were playing the meta game. I agree with you. I think it's the right strategy for them to continue with that slow rollout. I just know Splatoon 1 obviously didn't sell as many copies as Splatoon 2. There's a huge market around Splatoon 2 and a huge player base, even to this day, that if they don't include everything that's already in Splatoon 2, like say for example, my favorite gun is not in Splatoon 2 at launch, I'll be very upset because I want to be able to play the game that I'm used to, but experience the new modes and experience the new maps, but play it how I want to play it. But also have the new weapons as well to unlock. Because obviously we're all going back to Ground Zero. Like you start the game with just a splatter shot and like basic T-shirt and nothing. And you like have to work your way up from there and you have to unlock them and go to the store. Again, we don't know if that's still the case. It may not be, but I presume it is. And I'm looking forward to seeing more as they kind of reveal it and unlock it.
Yeah, it's funny because I'm on like the opposite end where I'm like, oh man, I'm tired of these weapons. Let me go and play with something else. And I feel like I've played the same weapon for so long. I've been messing with another one again lately because I was just like, this one, I'm tired of it. I just can't play this game like this anymore. And So I feel like starting from ground zero is going to be a good thing for me, where I'm like, all right, cool. I don't have the same weapon that I know and love anymore. I actually have to branch out and learn some other things. So I'm looking forward to that for that aspect of it too. But I also understand, like, yeah, if you want some familiarity in what you've played and what you like it should be there. But
It
at the
would be
same
like
time, like, just let the past die.
yeah, but it's like going into Smash, right? And your main character's not there in the new Smash, and you've got to wait for it to arrive like 6 months down the line.
Yeah.
Like, you know, it's eventually going to come because it was in the last Smash, and they've said that they're all going to be here, but it's not there, and you've got to like learn again, like learn the new weapon, learn the maps. Like it's it can be intimidating, I think. But I do think though, with everyone starting off at Ground Zero again, that's why it's the perfect time for Sierra to get into Splatoon 3 rather than Splatoon 2. The matchmaking, though, let me tell you, Sierra, week 1 of Splatoon 2, hell on earth. Splatoon 3 is going to be even worse. You're going to be up against people like Chewy, who's played like 1,000 hours of Splatoon 2, but the game has no idea that he's an amazing player because he's just started the game, so it thinks that
I haven't proven myself to that game yet.
So it's gonna match him up against you.
Oh boy.
When you stream it, I'll warn you. I'll be like, "Oh, that's this person. Watch out."
Okay. Perfect.
Yeah, and that's the other thing, right? This is the first Splatoon game where it's all one region. So it's not region locked.
Yeah.
There's no 3 SKUs of the game anymore. There's no like North American version or European version or Japanese version. So if I see anyone with Japanese writing in the game already, I'm already scared because I know I'm going to get completely destroyed. If I see someone now this can happen a lot more frequently, I would imagine.
Mhm.
When do we find out? Japan's gonna hate that. I'll tell you right now, because they, like, even in competitive tournaments right now, they still don't like the latency that exists with like players who are playing at really high levels and are all wired in and everything, but just because they're so far away, like they are just like, oh yeah, there's a bunch of latency here. It's laggy. We don't like playing like this. So I imagine they're not going to like it very much. And probably a lot of top players who play at that level aren't going to like that aspect unless the servers are just better. I messaged you and Pete the other day, and I was like, I played 5 games, and there were 4 disconnects in those 5 games.
Oh
like
my god.
4 out of 5 games, there were people disconnecting, and I was like, what is going on today? Why is this terrible? So
That would drive me nuts. Ugh.
and it only gets worse the lower level that you get into with Splatoon as well. Because these are, these are people who aren't like setting up their systems to be wired in to, get the best experience out of it. They're just like, yeah, I just want to play Splatoon,
on the sofa. Yeah.
I don't know how. How do you do that?
I don't know. I don't know how anyone plays that game without a pro controller. I just can't. I really cannot do it. I remember going to the Splatoon 2 European Championships, and there were people there, just like in the audience, playing the game handheld, and I was like, oh, okay. And then he went and played a match. Like he was one of the like pro players. And I'm like, how?
Oh my.
It was crazy. Like he was just watching his friend, and he did this weird thing where he had like his Joy-Cons like half into the Switch, so that he could like hold on to it more. Like it was like halfway in, like it wasn't like fully locked in, and he was like holding it at a really weird position.
You can do that?
It was crazy. Yeah, I guess they worked like wirelessly. It was so weird. It was so weird.
That's weird. Yeah, I don't know how people do that. I literally, when the test fire happened, I had been on the fence about getting a pro controller for a while. I still just had the Joy-Con, and then I played with the Joy-Con, and I was just like, "This isn't it. I'm getting a pro." The next day, I went out and got a pro controller.
Yeah.
Well, the next day they were available because they were pretty rare at that point. So everything Switch related was sold out. So it took me maybe a couple weeks after that, and then I was like, "All right. I'm ready for Splatoon. Now I can play."
Do you think we'll get a test fire for Splatoon 3? I would imagine we will, because they did one for Nintendo Switch Sports.
I'm going to guess yes. I'm going to guess they're using those new servers and testing things out, because this whole not being region locked thing is going to be. They just need to test it, so I imagine we'll get one.
I wonder if that'll be like Mario Kart 8, for example, where you can choose to play in your region, but you can play worldwide if you want to. Like, I really hope they go with some kind of decent matchmaking where I can like just team up with friends, go into Turf War. I haven't got to like add them with a friend code or anything like that. Like, I can just play with my friends, and I don't have to worry about, am I going to be getting in on time before this room closes? Like, it works in the ranked matches. Absolutely fine. Just let me team up with someone before I go into a match. That's all I want to do, rather than just like quick. There's like 3 spaces left in this room. Quickly join now. Like press A. You're like honestly, Sierra, it's insane how bad it is in this game. You just can't play with friends on Turf War. It's not really viable.
Man. And even if you do get in a room with your friends, it randomizes what team you're on. So you won't. You're probably going to be playing against each other with that. The only sure way to play together is to get to B- in ranked modes and get into the league modes. But Pete doesn't seem to know how to do that.
Yeah, he's been saying since I swear like 2017 that he will get to B- so he can play with us. He's not once done it. Not once.
He's not gonna do it. He's just, at this point, it's Splatoon 3.
Yeah. Well, I think the elephant in the room then is obviously last week we had the news that Xenoblade Chronicles was coming out in July when it was due out in September. Do you think this was a switcheroo? Like, was Splatoon meant to be out in July and now it's out in September because of reasons?
Yeah, and I'll tell you the reason. It was because I got the date right in our little predictions contest, and they said, you know what, he already got the date right for Advance Wars. Might as well change another one on him. So that's their reasoning. It's real messed up. They're listening to us, and they said, then they got beef. Right now,
I'm absolutely fine with that if they've got beef with you and me and Pete can win the contest. Like, that's absolutely fine with me. No problem whatsoever.
Yeah, no, but I think it's like clearly a switcheroo thing here, because I was like, I think most of us expected Splatoon 3 to be July sometime.
Yeah, like the
after
same time
E3
Splatoon and Splatoon 2 came out, yeah.
And I imagine they probably just had some more work to do on it or something, and then they're like, all right, Xenoblade's ready, let's just push that up and switch them. And we've already seen like several other delays from them at this point. Well, a couple with Zelda, right? And then Advance Wars for an unspecified amount of time. So I think they're just rearranging their timeline. And it's fine. Technically, they just gave us summer for Splatoon 3, and September, early September is somehow still summer.
Yeah.
Even though it's not for a bunch of kids going back to school who love Splatoon, my nephew being one of them.
Oh no, I totally didn't even clock that was going to be a thing. Oh.
Yeah. So a bunch of kids are gonna be disappointed that they can't play all day at launch because they're in class.
Where do you think this means that Pokemon lands? Right? Because this, at the end of the year, the back half, again, is getting clogged up. Like, we don't know where Advance Wars is going to go. We don't know where Pokemon lands. Like, what do you think, Sarah? When do you anticipate Pokemon coming?
I think it's going to come out in, like, November. I cannot foresee December. I can't, like... It is interesting now that, like, you know, I thought Splatoon was going to be like the Q2 heavy hitter, and now it's like a complete flip flop. So, I mean, I wouldn't put it past Nintendo to release multiple like blockbusters within like 2 months of each other. Like, so I think that honestly, I feel so confident it's going to be November. If it's October, I will eat my shoe. There's no way.
it's crazy because there's two other big games that are announced for this year that we still don't know when they land. Bayonetta 3 and Mario Rabbids 2.
Oh my god,
They're both due
Bayonetta.
out this year as well. And I could see Bayonetta being like a December game. Like, let's just sneak that in at the end of the year. Let's get it in ready for... I don't know, though, because Smash was a December game, and that was like a big hit, and it like sells consoles. So I could see Pokemon landing then, but like, I just don't know where Bayonetta goes. I could see Mario Rabbids being delayed till next year at this point, like along with seemingly every other big game they've got. Maybe Bayonetta gets delayed. Who knows? Like, maybe even Pokemon gets pushed. Like Arceus got pushed.
That's true. That's right.
Well, I told you all, PlayStation's got to acquire Ubisoft now, and then,
that
publish a Mario
literally
game.
seems to be happening. It really does seem to be happening.
PlayStation's going to make a Mario game in 2022.
I really hope that happens. That would be absolutely wild.
Yeah.
Can you imagine just seeing the like PlayStation Studios logo come up beforehand? It's got that like little video animation with like Aloy and like God of War, and then all of a sudden it's like woohoo, and like Mario appears on the screen, and you're like, what the hell is going on?
Yeah.
That'll be incredible. Absolutely incredible. Yeah, I think Pokemon's probably safely in that November range. I mean, that already seems like the game's coming out a lot sooner than any of us thought. Like, that was a surprise announcement for us at the beginning of the year, but this year is strange.
Yeah.
Same. Yeah. I think this year's really strange, especially considering the last week we had with like a couple huge games getting dates, things getting moved back, and I don't know, lots of rearranged things, and like it felt like a Nintendo Direct, but like an unofficial Nintendo Direct with all of the stuff that we learned about, and we still, I feel like, don't have a very clear roadmap after September.
Yeah.
Like September 9th, that is Splatoon 3. That's the last thing we really know about. Everything else that we do know about is kind of floating. And outside of Pokemon, like, I don't know if Nintendo has another thing planned. I'm sure the other thing they had planned before was Zelda, and now that that's pushed back into next year, I'm like, yeah, I mean, Pokemon will carry a holiday for them. They don't really need anything too big there at this point, but yeah, I'm just wondering if they do have, because I feel like we've gotten big October releases in the past. I think Mario Odyssey was an October release. Luigi's Mansion barely made it. I think that was Halloween.
Yeah,
right?
Halloween. Yep.
So yeah, we tend to get some big October releases, and I'm like, what's going to be in that slot? Who knows?
Maybe we get some more DLC, because this, along with the announcement of Splatoon 3's release date, they also chucked the Octo expansion for Splatoon 2 onto the Switch Online expansion pack, and I can talk a little bit about that probably in more detail next week once I played some more. But man, that should have been the single player mode. That game, that rules compared to the single players. It's incredible. I genuinely don't know what they were playing at with the single player in Splatoon 2. It's so bad in comparison to this.
Yeah, both Splatoon 1 and Splatoon 2's like base story is just like it's a little playground to learn a bunch of weapons, get a feel for what the game is and what you can do. But Splatoon 2's Octo expansion, just like, that is challenging. There's so many difficult missions in that one. There's really clever ways that they make the stages and challenges. So I don't know. It's what I hope the next story mode is, and I hope they don't just... And I feel like we might get that out of the next story, just because, like, they do have... I'm sure they expect a lot of their install base to have had played the original Splatoon on the Switch, Splatoon 2, and are just, like, going from that to this. So it's like they can do less tutorial with their story mode and really just put in a challenge to it. But kind of going back to your comment about them adding Octo expansion and the possibility of DLC, first off, yes, give us Super Mario or Mario Superstars, Mario Party Superstars DLC. Give us a new thing. Throw that on that. But I felt I've been saying it for a long time. As much as Nintendo says this is like the middle of the Switch, I still feel like this is the end of whatever the Switch is now.
Oh,
I
it's
think
gotta
they've got to
be.
start ramping up. Yeah, they've got to be
Since
ramping up
I've not
the
felt that
system.
anymore since I've got my Steam Deck, and I'm like, wow, look at the games that can be played on a handheld with like the latest tech. I'm playing stuff like Far Cry 6 on here that you can play on the latest
Incredible.
Xbox and PlayStation 5. I want to be able to play that on a Switch and like put a little cartridge in and like play everything here. I want to see Breath of the Wild running at 60 frames per second.
Yeah.
That's what I want, and I think I'm ready for the next Switch or the Switch Pro, even if it's just a tease or an announcement this year that's like, oh, it's coming next year alongside Breath of the Wild, whatever it's called, or The Legend of Zelda, blah blah blah. I could see them doing some kind of announcement. However, I don't think they'll want to cannibalize their holiday sales. That will absolutely come after Black Friday if they do it at all. I don't know if they announce that this side of Christmas or if that's like a January announcement.
Yeah. I think in general, what I'm kind of suspecting Nintendo is moving toward is probably they've got like their B teams working on DLC for existing Switch games, and their A teams kind of moving on to whatever big titles are for what's beyond the Switch. And we've even gotten the news recently that they're buying more land to build a new development studio around Japan as well. So they're going to be building up a new thing, and I think it's going to be ready in 2027, so like 5 years from now. That's what they're aiming for. So I don't know, just with them expanding their development teams in particular, I'm like, I think they're taking the Switch Online thing kind of seriously and going like, all right, let's make DLC. If people don't want to get online, they can pay for it. And if they do want to get this expansion pass, they can pay for that. Like either way, they want to make money off of their games and their existing games, but then also have those bigger teams working on the new stuff as well. So I don't know. I think we're getting a little hint toward that with this era of the Switch here. So yeah, no, I think you're spot on with saying like, do DLC in October. Do some sort of package, and they have already kind of like lined that up too. Like Mario Kart.
Yeah, I could see the next Mario
getting
Kart
more
coming
stuff.
out. Well, I could see us getting one in July as like a surprise drop around that E3 week, because I can imagine they'll still want to do something like we spoke about last week. Maybe they'll be in with Jeff's stuff, and then do another one in like the autumn. Because they've got 6 packs to get through up until the end of next year, so there's probably 3 this year, 3 next year. I could definitely see that get one out in September, October, well, probably October, November time. That could really work.
And that's how they keep getting money off that game too. Like it's going to be packaged in with the Switch for the holiday for the 7th year in a row or whatever it is, and then people are going to be like, "Oh, cool! I can get more stuff for just like $25. Let's do it." Or I can get more stuff for
they'll probably chuck in a year of the expansion pack as well to like get your automatic subscription renewal the following year. What do you think, Sierra? What would you like to see get DLC? Obviously, Chewy's mentioned the Mario Party Superstars. Like, what games are on Animal Crossing What games are on the Switch that you'd like to see DLC for? And do you kind of see this as like the future? Do you think we'll get every DLC moving forwards included in the expansion pack, or do you think they'll be paid for like the Fighters Passes were in Smash?
Right. That was my hope, was that, by them announcing that expansion like pack or that expansion plan, that that we would get we could get DLC through that option, and therefore like it doesn't feel like you are like spending a kidney to like get extra games content. What's it called? I really was hoping for Arceus DLC. I really wanted them to add more areas to explore, but I don't think that we're getting that because, as I'm playing the post game, I still haven't finished it. As I'm playing the post game, I'm like, I feel like this was like what they envisioned. This would be like, the full stop end of the game experience here, and like I don't foresee them now moving on to add anything beyond the mass outbreaks. So that's a bummer, but that's what I would have liked to see for sure. And at this point, I'm really hoping that with Nintendo Switch Sports, they're gonna add in more sports that you can play through the expansion pack or through DLC. I think maybe the Smash stuff was like, what they had planned as far as like I guess I remember like that was before the expansion pass. Like you had to buy the fighter pass or like the individual fighters. I am curious to see what that'll mean for the future Smash. But like I don't know if we're gonna get another one on the Switch anyway, to
I
be
don't think
completely
so.
honest. No.
Unless
We're never gonna
they're
get
saying,
one ever again.
I could see us never getting
Ever
another
again.
one again. Yeah. Although I never thought we would get new maps for Mario Kart, and we got them. So like, never say never. It could be that they're just like,
True.
here's another fighter pass, and now all of the other fighters are included in the Switch Online expansion pack. I could absolutely see them doing that. Like if they're retroactively adding DLC now with the Octo expansion, there's no reason we couldn't see, like, with the impending release date of Breath of the Wild 2, chuck the Breath of the Wild DLC on there. And the people who didn't experience that, finish up that story, experience that, do the exact same thing with the Smash Fighters packs. Like, just let everyone kind of experience it, because it's a rental. Like, every time I open Splatoon 2 now, it's like checking to see if you can play this title. Same thing with Animal Crossing. Because it has to check to see if I've still got a subscription.
Yeah. Bummer.
But you mentioned Switch Sports. That's out as of this releasing. That's out tomorrow. How are you both feeling about Switch Sports?
I'm stoked. I'm
Me
so
too.
excited. I missed the playtest, so I'm like,
Yeah,
but
me
I knew I was
too.
gonna. I knew I was gonna buy it. That was such a comically short window, 7 to 7:45 p.m. Eastern time. Like, what?
You're telling me, try doing that in Europe. It was like it was like 2
right.
a.m. It was ridiculous. It was like, oh yeah, I'll just stay up to play this for 30 minutes at 2 o'clock in the morning. No,
Yeah.
thanks. I'll just wait.
Right.
Yeah, and you kind of mentioned too, like they are planning on adding the big one, golf, right? Later, and it's not going to be out right at launch. They're adding that later, so I could see them approaching that game in this way. Where I mean, there's hundreds of sports. They could keep adding whatever they want to it. I don't think there's a lack of content there.
They just need to add this year archery using the Ring-Con, so I can tick that box on my predictions, and then I'll be happy. They just don't need to add anything else to the game then.
Yeah, I mean, at that point, it's perfect, right? But yeah, no, the window was so small. I think that I could make it to one of them, and then I just forgot, so I missed them all. The rest of the week, I was just like, oh man, I got stuff going on. I can't play this thing.
Yeah.
But in general, I'm pretty pumped. I like that they've got this little like competitive aspect to it where they're like, oh yeah, you can either play kind of casually or work on your score and become a pro kind of thing. And I'm like, yeah, I'm always down for that. So yeah, I think it looks fun. I am personally a fan of their new little sports mates. Is that what
Yes, me
called?
too. They look so good. I love
cute.
them. Yeah.
Yeah.
Their
And they
eyes
kept
are
the
a bit
knees there for
scary.
anybody who wants them.
Are you going to be using the leg strap accessory to play football, aka soccer, with this game?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah. I've got it.
Gotta use this Ring Fit gear I bought.
Yeah, you got to dust it off because it's not been used since February. At least for me, anyway, it hasn't been used since February. I don't know if either of you kept up with Ring Fit after that.
I saw Sierra on it the other day.
I played today. Yeah, I'm still on it. It's good cardio,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I want to get to the end of that, but maybe next February.
I can't believe how much content they milk out of this very weird, flaccid storyline.
I know.
It's so bizarre.
And I heard it changes slightly in like the next couple playthroughs. Yeah.
Oh, there's
I
not
think
New
you can
Game
like
Plus,
keep
is
going
there?
through. I think there's like 2 new game pluses. I think you can go through it like 3 times and have like a slightly different experience
So
each
come
time.
back in
Wow.
2030 when we've all finished this game for the third time and we're like 40 years old, and
Yeah.
we'll
Yeah.
let you know how we're getting on.
Yeah, Ring Fit 3
Ring
is
Fit
already out, but we're
February.
still playing the first one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's value for money. Like, I don't think I'm ever going to finish that game. I'm just not.
It's so funny.
Cool. Well, I'm glad you're both excited for Switch Sports. I don't think I'm picking this game up at launch. I don't have a desire to play it at the moment. I'm just not in. I don't know. I'm not in that mood. As much as I loved the original Wii Sports, I never played Wii Sports Resort, and I spent 90% of my time in that game in the bowling, and I have bowling in the Clubhouse games. So
I understand.
it's
Yeah.
like I've had
True.
my fair share of what I would have wanted from Switch Sports. Although, like, looking at the trailer, there's like tons of things they've added to the bowling. Like, there's one where there's like a tiny plank of wood, and you've got to somehow like angle the ball to go across the tiny plank of wood. And there's like, or there's one with like moving targets, and you've got to try and weave in and out in order to hit a strike. There's one with like a hill. It's crazy mode.
Those look fun. Those look really fun. Funny enough, I still to this day have not touched the bowling and Clubhouse games or a lot of the other games. It's basically like I play Mancala, Ludo, and Dominoes.
Love
Those are,
Mancala so
and then
much.
every
I
once in a while
loved Mancala
the
too.
Uno thing.
Yeah, what is the
So,
Uno game called? They all have rip-off names. Like Yahtzee's just called Yacht.
Yacht.
yeah,
Wait,
yeah.
they have a rip-off Uno? I never noticed. I used to play Clubhouse 51.
I think it's Last
Clubhouse.
Card.
Last card, that's it.
Last card.
And like the lady
That's
goes,
funny.
last card. And like she says it, it's ridiculous. It's genuinely ridiculous.
Oh
It's
my
perfect.
god.
That lady's a queen.
But yeah, I loved Mancala. Absolutely thought I was like great at the game. And then Chewy came on stream when I was streaming Clubhouse Games. Was like, oh, I'll play a game of Mancala with you. He absolutely destroyed me, Sierra. Like, I thought I was doing great, and he's just like, I genuinely, as I was playing, I thought I'm doing all right, and then he goes, like, his bean comes along and just like fucking swipes them all out of my pot, and I'm just like, what the hell just happened? Like, I didn't even see it coming. It's just like his brain was like 5 steps ahead of what I was doing at any given time. I couldn't.
Mancala was like a yearly thing for me. Like every Thanksgiving, I would play for hours with my sister-in-law. It was just a random game that would make it out of the little board game cubby. And while people were in between like Scrabble matches and stuff, I'd be like, all right, Mancala, let's go.
Oh yeah, it's marble time.
Yeah.
I'd love a really nice physical set of that with like nice glass beads. I would really.
I've got some. I'm short on beads though. I got it like used, and I was like, "Oh man, we're missing some here." So I kind of want to just go get like a bag of marbles and use.
Yeah,
that.
that's the same thing functionally for sure.
Mhm.
They always used to remind me as a kid of Pokemon damage counters, and I think that's why I liked playing it as a kid so much.
Mm-hmm.
That's like
the
nerdiest
card game
thing to compare it against. I love it. So before we round out the show, I just want to say that this is Miyamoto, and the Mario movie is delayed. So if you didn't see, he took to Twitter, and after consulting with Chris San and his partner at Illumination on the Super Mario Brothers film, they've moved the release until next spring. April 28th in Japan and April 7th in America. Do either of you care? Like, I just feel like I've got no connection to this film because I've seen no trailer. I don't know what the story's like.
Yeah.
I don't like Chris Pratt as a person or an actor. And I just don't think the film's going to be very good. So that's where I'm at with it. How do you two feel?
They could delay it to 2080. I really don't care because like you said, like I have no material like or physical conception of even what this is, what it's gonna be about. Like they didn't even do like a reveal trailer, anything. They're like, look, Jack Black is in it. They're just flashing headshots in a slideshow. Like, okay.
Yeah, it was the weirdest
Um,
announcement. It was like, here's a black and white picture of Chris Pratt, and he's the voice of Mario. Okay, sure.
Isn't he cool?
I'm
Like,
there for Jack Black. I'm there for
yeah.
Keegan Michael Key. And I'm
And
there
also,
for, I guess, Anya Taylor-Joy. They're fine.
oh
Charlie
my
Day's alright
god.
too.
Yes,
Yeah.
Charlie Day. That was what I
Yeah.
was like, what's his name?
Yeah, Charlie Day.
Yeah.
See, I can envisage him as Luigi.
yeah.
I can't envisage Chris Pratt as doing a good Mario voice.
Mm-mm.
Yeah. Like,
It
what
should
does
have been
that
Danny
sound
DeVito.
like? If you're not gonna let Charles Martinet do the voice, at least get Danny DeVito. But no,
Mhm.
we didn't get Danny DeVito for Detective Pikachu. We didn't get him for Mario. Is there anything left for us?
Nothing.
Nothing. I don't know. Like you said, I cannot envision Chris Pratt as Mario. What are they gonna do? What is it gonna be about?
I'm just surprised they haven't like tried to make it a Mario Day release, you know? I thought if they pushed it back to April, and I'm like, why not March
Yeah,
10th?
like, could you bring it forward a month?
I thought
Yeah.
we'd get a trailer on Mario Day this past
Right.
year at least, but nothing came out.
Yeah, so strange. Very strange. Also weird that it's not a worldwide release. Like, I just don't feel like movies do
Yeah.
that anymore. Because piracy kind of killed that staggered rollout. Because when we didn't get movies and TV shows same day in the UK, guess where we got them? We got them on Pirate Bay. And we still then did get them on the same day. So it's just like, just let everyone watch the film the same day. That's all we want, to be able to go watch Mario together. Or not, as the case may be in this instance, because I have no idea if it's going to be any good. But we've had some good animated video game movies. Like, I loved Detective Pikachu. I thought it was a great movie, and I
loved it too.
I couldn't imagine Ryan Reynolds as Pikachu when that was announced. So maybe I need to just give Chris Pratt the benefit of the doubt, and he's.
I mean, I still kind of can't. I feel like Ryan Reynolds does one thing, and I'm like, yeah, that's Ryan Reynolds. I can't like completely picture him as Detective Pikachu. I'm like, I still see Ryan Reynolds there.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
and then Sonic 2 is sweeping at the box offices.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it yet.
I haven't seen it. I haven't seen the first one. I'm dying to, but have not had the chance.
Uncharted is digital now. I'm gonna try to watch that soon.
Oh yeah, I didn't hear anything that was explicitly like awesome about it. Did you guys?
No, it was just like that seemed to be just a meager release. It was just like, it's okay. If you liked the games, you'll like the movie.
Right.
Whereas Detective Pikachu, I'd never played the game, and that was like a phenomenal film, in my opinion. I had such a great time watching that from beginning to end. I've watched it twice, and I probably will watch it a third time at some point.
Yeah, it's one of
What were you gonna say?
One of the 3 movies I've bought on Blu-ray in the last 10 years.
Wow, you actually? I don't own any Blu-rays anymore. They're all gone.
I bought a physical copy of.
Yeah, to this day, Detective Pikachu is like, that is what a world with Pokemon is like and should be like. Like, come on, Pokemon, make your games.
That's where I want the games to get, right? We were talking about when a new Switch is coming. Can you imagine at the point when Pokemon games, like, how good would a Pokemon game look on another console? Like, I see Digimon Survive. Like, we spoke about Digimon Survive on Flip Screen Games podcast this week. Sadly, True wasn't there, but Sierra was, so go listen to that. And it just looks like 10 times better than Pokemon, visually, in my eyes. And like, I know that's because the footage they're capturing is on a PS5. And so I think, like, how good would Arceus look if it had the horsepower of like a modern machine underneath the thing? Like, it actually might look decent.
Yeah. It's not like, we're asking for any uncanny valley renders of Pokemon. It would be nice if they were just like, I feel like the closest we got to like really nice 3D models of Pokemon was like Pokken Tournament. Like, I think they looked really sharp in that game. But we'll see with Scarlet and Violet, I guess.
And I mean, I think Pokemon just looks like they have a ton of cute official art that's like stylized differently and stuff. And I'm like, just commit to one of those things. I mean, like Digimon's committed to its kind of more anime vibe that it has, and it looks awesome. And I'm just like,
Yeah,
I wouldn't mind if
there's an
Pokemon switched to
official
look.
like web manga now or web anime
Yeah,
for Arceus now.
Oh,
yeah.
right. Yeah.
So like if the game looked like that or looked like the cover of the actual game, I would have been so on board. Like that just looks like top notch.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, especially when you see like so many really awesome stylized indie games where I'm just like, oh man, like if Pokemon did an art style like this with Pokemon, it just look good
Yeah.
instead of these weird kind of crummy 3D models they've been going with thus far.
For me, it was less the 3D models in Arceus and more the environments. They just
Oh,
felt
Yeah.
so flat everywhere. It was just like no textures, like hardly any foliage. It was just like I just want something a little bit more inspiring to look at. And by all accounts, Scarlet and Violet seems to be doing that from what they've shown in the trailers. So hopefully that's like another step
Yeah.
in the right direction. But I
Yeah.
would
They need
love,
Monolith.
I would love to have like a studio like Monolith just come in and just be like, right, we're taking Pokemon, we're gonna do the next one, and this is, they just run with it and they just do something phenomenal.
hmm Yeah, I've been revisiting Xenoblade Chronicles, and I'm just like, man, there's so much to this battle system, and I know it's like nothing compared to what Xenoblade 2's battle system is too. So I'm just like kind of scared of getting into it, but also like it's engaging, it's cool. Whereas like up until now, Pokemon's been the same thing forever, and they've been trying different things with Arceus, and it was fine and dandy. But I don't know. I don't know how much further they'll take it into a new realm without like breaking the big competitive scene that they've built up at this point. So I don't know.
I think they just need two games. They need a game like Pokemon Showdown that has the like competitive. You just go in and you're battling. You're building out your deck, and you know essentially it's like you're building out a deck of cards, and you're taking those cards into battle, and you're playing like with the classic battle system. And then they need these big open world RPGs that everyone wants, like Xenoblade, that people want to run around and catch Pokemon and fight them in an engaging like real time way, like you can do in Arceus. I just think they need two games, and that's fine if there's two lines of Pokemon and it like diverges, because Digimon's done the same, right?
There's like a whole lot more money.
Yeah, there's like the Digimon VPEC games, there's the Cyber Sleuth stuff, we've got Digimon Survive with the Tactics RPG, and it's all totally different, and it's all like different visual styles, and it's like totally fine. I
think my Digimon pet's over there. It's too far for me to grab. I have the little Digivice Tamagotchi thing. It's cute.
Yes.
Oh, nice. Do you
I
like wear
had
it out
the-
everywhere?
What was that?
I said, do you like wear it out everywhere and like get your steps in with the thing?
I think I have to change the battery. I let one die kind of recently. I was like, oh well,
Right.
I'm over it.
What were you saying, Sierra?
So,
I have the Vital Bracelet, the Digimon
I
Vital
want
Bracelet.
one of those.
They're only $60 on Amazon now. They used to be really hard to get, but I think you can get it like quicker on Amazon US now. I had the Pulsemon one, but I need to get more. I need Guilmon so badly.
Oh yeah, I wanted to get the Tamers starter pack thing that they have.
Yes.
I want Terriermon. I love Terriermon.
Nice. What's interesting though is like the different evolution lines, like and then keeping the watch battery alive, because it's like even if you turn down the brightness, like it really only lasts like 8 hours, which is a bummer.
Oh man, I might buy one soon. They're so cool.
Yeah, do it.
Drew is shopping right now.
It's fun though. I like to when you use the NPC touch point to get battles, you can cheese battles with your Switch, because it also has like an NPC thing on it. So or whatever NFC reader. So like if I like no, I'm not gonna get a chance to like get a battle in like when I'm out running errands, or like if I feel too shy to do it at like a cash register, I'll just like touch my watch to my Switch and it'll activate a battle. It's so cool.
Nice.
So you battled them by going up to other NFC chips, like say I'm using like Apple Pay on my phone, like instead of that I would use the bracelet.
Yeah, you can use your phone too. So you can cheese it with your phone. You can do it with the Switch. I went up to a vending machine and got a battle that way.
That is
And
so cool.
you're supposed to be able to do it at cash registers, but I might have tried it once on tour. I don't remember. But it's like also so awkward to like be like paying for like your groceries and then just be like
You gotta do it. You gotta do it.
Yeah, just embrace it. Just embrace that you are a nerd and you're here to play Digimon.
You're right. You're right. You get one life to live and one life to play Digimon.
Now I know I've spoken about it with Chewy, but I'm curious as you brought this up. Totally unrelated to Nintendo, so apologies. But if you're interested in this kind of thing, then listen to our other podcast because this is the kind of stuff we talk about. But do you remember, Sierra, this thing called barcodes or whatever it was called? What was it
Scanners?
called? Scanners. And you had these like devices and you scanned barcodes, and in like the barcodes, it would like you would like find monsters and stuff. And like,
Yes.
I always wanted one. I never had one.
I remember.
Always do.
Yeah.
Why is there not an app that does that?
Right?
now?
There needs to be an app. Like you could totally do it. Just like scan it and then like fight each other with the fucking phone app. It could be so good.
This was you should have capitalized on the resurgence of QR codes with this.
Yeah.
And they should have just like, programmed them to make battles happen. Oh my god.
I told you, make the show. Somebody out there with more money than us who can afford to do these things, make a show called We Have the Technology and make all these things from our childhood that didn't work quite well, but now that they can work well, we have the technology to do so. Just do that, please.
Yeah.
I'm gonna drop Elon Musk
we'll play
a DM now because he's the protector of free speech. I'm sure he'll have his DMs open ready for me because he loves that. That's why he's bought Twitter. But anyway, thank you both so much for joining me and putting up with me being the host this week. I know I'm no Pete, but you know.
But you are Steve, and we love you, and this was a blast. So thank you, for the hangs.
Before we wrap up, Sierra, remind everyone where they can find you.
I am sierraplusultra, streaming 3 nights a week on Twitch, Tuesdays, Thursdays, Saturdays, something like that. It changes. I'm on Twitch, I'm on Twitter, I'm on Instagram, and TikTok, all those things. sierraplusultra.
Awesome. And you can find us over on flipscreen.games. Drop us an email, right into the show. Sometimes they make it on as main topics or give us questions. And join our Discord. That's the best way you can get in contact with us. We're all over there on Discord, chatting with the whole community. So, yeah, we shall see you all next time for another episode of Nintendo Noise.